I watched Wicked, but even I fell asleep in that, and that was like a good movie musical.
The Oscars are upon us. The Academy has spoken, but that doesn't mean we have to agree.
We're going head to head to decide what's overrated
And underrated. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's dive in. First up, Demi Moore.
Ooh.
Best Actress, Oscar nominee, Demi Moore. 3, 2, 1. Underrated. If you were asking me before The Substance came out, I would have been like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, me
but
too.
I'm doing it a bit slow now because I think she's slowly verging towards that.
I agree. I also did not like The Substance, so...
I'm fine. Everything's fine.
She's good in it, but I think the film as a whole is overrated.
Overrated. I think Demi Moore is like getting her time now, isn't she, with,
Yeah.
with awards attention.
It's long overdue.
Yeah, she's said at the Golden Globes, she was like, you know, just viewed as blockbuster fodder, and you know, she was good at that, but she was obviously delivering good performances that weren't getting there. It wasn't getting like praise for its for her acting prowess. Movie musicals.
Oh God, okay.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, I hate people singing in movies. I hate it. I sound like such a grouch, but I really hate noise in the cinema, and that just movie musicals brings out
People singing,
and I cannot think of anything worse.
That can be a problem.
Silence, dead silence. Even when people laugh, I'm like, save it. I watched Wicked. I could appreciate it, but even I fell asleep in that, and that was like a good movie musical.
Wicked.
And I can really appreciate that Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo were really great in it, and it was beautiful, but so much singing. But also like La La Land, not into it.
I think when done right, it's a very magical thing, a movie musical. So I'll always go and give one a try. And La La Land, I just adore it.
Method acting.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Just perform.
Yeah. It's not that deep, is it? I think it's okay if you want to not talk to the cast and crew while you're like on set. But I think if you're making anyone else's life more difficult because you are like method acting, that's
It's
not
like if you're
okay.
implicating people in your weird method.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't think
wrong.
anyone's ever been a method actor and
Been
hasn't
nice,
been.
yeah. It's like method acting is someone really lovely.
Yeah.
It's always just playing someone awful, and they're like, yeah, got to get into the role.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And like Jared Leto when he sent like all those weird things for Suicide Squad when he played Joker.
Absolutely bizarre and unnecessary because he was also shit in that.
He's so intense.
Jeff Goldblum.
3, 2, 1. Again, it sounds so personal. Like
I know. I mean, he's just kind of in everything and not like, he just does the same thing in everything.
oh my god.
Yeah. It's getting old. It's getting stale.
Thing is, I don't mind that stuff off the camera, but when he shows up in Wicked and he's doing Jeff Goldblum, it is like, okay, I get why you've been cast and I get that people like this and find it funny.
Yeah.
But also, you don't have to do it in everything.
Folks have come to expect that sort of thing.
So maybe it's the casting directors who are, you know, failing him. Maybe he's trying to push out.
He is obviously a huge, talented, funny, kind of kooky guy.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the problem is everyone else deifying him too much.
And they're wanting him to do Jeff Goldblum and everything.
This is not Jeff's fault.
No. Justice for Jeff.
Should be that, but it's all your fans. Biopics. 3, 2, 1.
They are so often also Oscar bait, and you can smell it from a mile off.
I would love it if there was a rule where or they just did a separate category for biopics at the Oscars, and you couldn't be nominated for a performance if you were in a biopic, or it's based on a role. Like, because then Gary Oldman would have won for Winston Churchill. So easy. Like, I'm not saying it's easy performance to play, but it's easy to get lost in a role when you're wearing those prosthetics and playing Winston Churchill.
And also, you're like copying something.
Yeah.
Like, you're not like generating something from within, holding space. Like, he doesn't know what this is in reference.
It's a finger thing, isn't it? 3, 2, 1.
That moment, I remember I saw like that go viral, and then I watched the video and I was like, this is weirder than I even thought it would be. Like, it was absolutely bizarre. Like, what on earth?
People are taking the lyrics of Defying Gravity and really holding space with that.
I didn't know that was happening.
I feel like it like sums up how people speak sometimes. Holding space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity.
So explain, holding space is sitting with something and like reflecting.
I guess so. Yeah, again, I'm not that sure, but
That's funny that we
it's
still
just-
don't really know.
Yeah.
Maybe the thing in itself is overrated, but holding space in general, underrated.
Yeah.
Hold space, man. Like I could do with holding space a bit
everyone-
more in my
yeah.
life.
Also, the way they like handled it was very gracious. And
Yeah, no,
nice.
to be
Like,
honest,
they were sweet about it.
it was funny because I think Sophia Rivas since said she didn't really understand what was happening, but she got in too deep almost. She's like,
just
"Oh, no." And then she realised, and I think she was just like willing the moment to end a bit. That in its
Yeah.
nature is funny.
Yeah.
Because it was a very human response.
Yeah.
And then Ariana just wanted to be involved, so she just like touched the
the
finger just to
finger.
like
Adrian Brody.
3, 2, 1.
I think he was really great in The Brutalist, and I like him as an actor.
You know when he did that Oscars kiss with Halle Berry? Back
Oh
in the
yeah,
day?
that
Just like
is a bit
force
grim.
himself upon her and he won
That
his
was
Oscar.
grim.
It's just like things like that have shaped my opinion of him. And
So
he
you're
did,
worried he'll do a repeat at this year's Oscars?
Halle Berry's like
Yeah.
burning the invite in the post as we speak. All right, well, I'm sticking with that. Brody brand and acting-wise, I'm going with that. He's not my favourite actor out there. He dresses well, though. He's got charisma. I mean, no, I'm sticking with that. Gladiator II. Now, let me tell you something. Because I haven't seen it, I'm going to revert to Gladiator 1, which is so that. It's the most that. This game was designed for me to throw this up about Gladiator 1.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
I'm going to say underrated about 2, just because I think people really despised it. I feel like if you didn't like Gladiator 1, you're going to hate Gladiator 2.
Really? Yeah.
Because it's way worse than Gladiator 1. I went into Gladiator 2 thinking it was going to be garbage, because everyone said it was garbage. And I was still like, I thought it was still pretty good.
This
I don't know
raises-
if Paul Mescal was the right choice, and I'm saying that as a Paul Mescal fan. I don't know if he has the gravitas. Also, I looked it up and Russell Crowe was like 36 when he played that role. And Paul Mescal's like 28. You need a bit of life experience.
I always think the thing with Paul Mescal is when he plays roles like that, the guy just feels like he's like, you could just walk into a pub in London and he'd just be at the bar.
Yeah, that's what makes him so good in stuff like Normal People and like more intimate things.
Yeah.
I think Denzel Washington was pretty good in it.
Was he?
Yeah, like watchable,
Yeah.
as he always is.
He never isn't, is he?
Yeah. So I was,
Robbed of
yeah.
an Oscar nom, would you say?
No.
Okay. 3+ hour long films.
Definitely overrated.
Come on then, tell
I
me
don't
why.
know.
Convince me.
I think almost all of the films that are this long don't need to be that long, and only a few of the films that are that long, like, are still good despite it. Like Dune was still like entertaining.
There are a lot of 3 hour plus films now that don't justify it. But my God, the act of sitting down to watch a 3 hour plus film, I usually try to go to cinema to do it if it's like a classic, because
Yeah.
I like getting properly immersed.
Whenever I see a film in the cinema that is over 3 hours, even if it's good and entertaining, I feel like people get restless in the seats, you know, like they're like shifting around and like going to the bathroom, and it really takes me out of it.
But for me, that's like, it's an escape. I really immerse into that world, and I think if it was like even 90 minutes, I wouldn't have immersed half as much.
Dune 1 and 2.
3, 2, 1. Okay, June 1, June 2.
I watched Dune 1 really late. I only watched Dune 1 like a month before Dune 2 came out. It was so good, and I was like so happily surprised how entertained I was. And then I got to watch Dune 2 a month later in the cinemas, and it was so good. Again, like massively long, but I was entertained throughout.
I think the thing about June 1 is I really love it until I don't. I think the last half an hour is pure setup for number 2.
Yeah.
And it's just not, it ends with like a fight where you know how it's going to end. And you've just got like these repeated shots of Zendaya kind of like looking behind her, like beckoning Paul on. But June 2, man, spectacle-wise.
Yeah,
no,
so
no
epic.
better.
Just like,
I would actually go on a limb and say it's the best film I've ever seen in IMAX.
Really?
I would say that.
Yeah.
I was in the moment like, this is what it's about.
The Oscars.
The Oscars.
The Oscars.
The
The
biggie.
biggie.
3, 2, 1.
And it's just actually really long. Again, too long.
What the Oscars represents generally is like a celebration of film.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with it or not. And for that, it's a punching bag. The Oscars are a punching bag, and I think that's what makes it this for me. Nothing can really touch the Oscars in terms of like the stature of it is so big. And even if they don't nominate the right things, and they do now, they are more prone to nominating way more interesting stuff than they ever did.
It's like when Parasite won, that was like really sweet.
Amazing.
And
the moment when La La Land got named,
yeah, that is like
to the moment,
hilarious.
like, which was like watching that live was
slap?
incredible. The slap.
You cannot
were
make
like,
this
"What
up.
just
That
happened?"
was crazy.
That was like the biggest story in the world in that
Oh my God,
moment.
yeah.
And we watched it live, and the next morning everyone was like, what the hell, what happened? And watching it live, it's like quite thrilling.
Greatest night in the history of television.
The Oscars is taking place on the 2nd of March this year, and you can follow along with all of our coverage, all our tireless work that we're bringing to you on The Independent.
We'll be bringing you everything from red carpet moments to the biggest snubs and surprises of the night.
Thank you so much for watching Overrated and Underrated. Like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow along for all the latest trailers and updates on Instagram and TikTok.